Today we're going to explore a 275-year-old institution that has been an integral part to fine wines and whiskies for as long as the industry has been around. That's right, today we are here in Burlington Arcade and we're going to be touring around Justerini Brooks. Ethan, thank you so much for joining us and for welcoming us here to your wonderful new showroom in Burlington Arcade. I mean, it really is a showroom. It's so much incredible liquid on display, calling my name here. Tell us a little bit about this space and what's going on. I can see obviously there is a bar space, but equally there's downstairs and upstairs as well. So what's going on here? What is it that you're trying to achieve here at Justerini Brooks?
So it's kind of a three-floor paradise. We've been here for about 4 or 5 months now with the kind of idea of showing off what Justerini Brooks has to offer. So we are historically a wine merchant. Obviously, as you know, we've got an incredible selection of whiskey as well. This is an opportunity for us to showcase those wines to both the public really and also to sample them. So we are kind of a wine retail showroom. We've got about 100 wines on display here, all for kind of available by the bottle.
Fantastic.
But you can also buy wine by the glass if you wanted to, or pay a flat corkage fee if that's also what you want to do. It doesn't matter if it's Petrus or kind of house wine. It's £25 and you can just sit outside,
enjoy a nice glass and watch the world go by. So before we go upstairs, Ethan, I just want to have a little look at some of the wines you've got here, because one of the things that really stood out to me straight away is you've got everything from kind of quite an accessible price point through to the super luxurious. I mean, something that took my eye straight away is this 2000 vintage of Lynch-Sparge, which for me, a great brand name, a phenomenal wine. I know very little about wine, but I know what I like. And so I'm looking here, there's actually quite a lot of different things that I would be able to jump in and give a go to.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the range and what goes into sort of creating it, because you say they're switching in and out on a regular basis.
So our buying team, we've got a team of buyers and they've been working with the business. Actually, to be honest, our buying director, Giles, has been with Justerini Brooks for 25 years.
Wow,
so
okay.
All about what we do is about the relationships with the producers. So we will be, they'll know they'll have them on speed dial, exactly all of these producers. Every time a new vintage comes out, we'll be sure to try it. We'll just be sure to make sure it's the best quality.
Yeah.
And also it's fostering those relationships over years and years and years and just making sure that those wines are placed in the right places, they're drunk in the right ways, and also just for people to enjoy. And obviously it's all about discovery. Like the reason we choose which wines we have on display is, yes, it might be seasonal, but also if someone's like, okay, this is something new, it's drinking well, especially, you forget that when whiskey it's not likely to change in the bottle, whereas wine does. It goes through phases. So what we'll showcase on the shelf here is stuff that's drinking well now, so that people can come in and say, right, I'm going to have a 2022, whatever it may be, or a 2021, whatever it may be, and it's ready to drink, ready to take home if they want to enjoy it at a party, with dinner, whatever.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So something for everybody, and you can get involved and actually understand what wines are drinking best at the moment.
Exactly.
Fantastic. We're talking about what's drinking well at the moment. Should we do a glass of bubbles upstairs? Let's go. So we've come upstairs here at Burlington Arcade into the main tasting area. This is where you come along, have a glass of wine or a dram of whiskey to yourself. Equally, if you want to hire out the whole space, get in touch with Ethan here and I'm sure you'll be able to sort something out. But my God, the first thing I noticed is the opulence. As soon as you walk in, there are royal warrants everywhere. Tell us a little bit about this, because obviously earning a royal warrant is not easy. The fact that you've been in business for 275 years and it seems as though the royal warrants have continued since sort of day dot almost is incredibly impressive. What goes into that and what does that mean for you guys here as a business?
I mean, it shows trust, I guess. The fact that the royal family enjoy what we do and they value the brands that we represent and the service that we offer, which I think is kind of the big tick there.
For sure.
But look, as we said, we're going back to 1749. Our first royal warrant was from King George III in 1761 even, God, way longer than that.
Right.
And we've held it ever since. So it's really good to just show that, look, we do have a lot of heritage and we've got a lot of history and we've got a lot of trust with people that I think have quite important opinions. But then again, we're looking forward into the future. We've got this amazing new space in Burlington Arcade. everything is very contemporary. Yes, as you were talking about, it's a very opulent space and it does feel very grand. But I think the touches that we've put in here make it do feel very modern, very kind of classic, very clean, and very still high end, but also not ostentatious.
No, there is definitely an element of it being quite homely and welcoming, but still very premium, and you feel like you're on a grand day out, you know what I mean? But that's incredible, and I think the word you struck on there that definitely hits for me is heritage, because there is such a depth of heritage to your brand, to your business. And I think what's great about all of these royal warrants and about the 275 years that you've had is it showcases where you've been and what you've achieved, but also really kind of paves the way for where you're going. Like you say, the fact that you continue to get these renewed royal warrants, the fact that you're still supplying the royal family today with wines, whiskies, whatever it may be, is a serious point of, excellence. It showcases that you guys really know what you're doing, right? So Ethan, we've had a little look around and seeing this upstairs space is incredible. It's great that Justerini and Brooks really actually is for everyone to come in and enjoy no matter where you are on your journey with wines and whiskies. If I am a keen collector, an avid enthusiast, somebody who wants to get into that super opulent level of wines and whiskies, how do I go about that with yourself?
Pop in, take my details, we'll organise a time for you to come and see downstairs if you want to come and join me.
Okay. All right, so downstairs is where it all happens?
Yes, we've got the private tasting space, kind of private consultation space on whiskey, which ranges all the way up to the kind of the really old and rare whiskies that we have in the portfolio.
Okay.
It's a nice showcase of what we've got on offer, somewhere that you can't see everywhere.
For sure.
This is all the stuff that you don't see on the shelves anywhere else.
Exciting, I love it. Okay, really cool, really cool. Should we have a little look?
Absolutely.
Let's go. So Ethan, thank you so much for welcoming me back down here into your incredible whiskey den. I mean,
A lair.
Yeah, right. It is a little bit of a lair. What a great word. Exactly that. It's incredible what you have got going on here. Some of these drams are just beyond unattainable to people like myself. But then you've got some, I'm looking at some of the special releases over the past few years that I've had, I've tried, I've thoroughly enjoyed, and now I'm a little bit jealous that they're on your shelves fully sealed. Equally then looking at these different bits and pieces that I haven't seen before, and all the way down to the J&B Rare, which is kind of, a lot of people will have heard of J&B, but won't think of Justerini and Brooks, which I find really interesting. Mm-hmm. It's a brand that people know without even knowing it. And for everyone at home who's maybe seen J&B before, didn't know, or hasn't tried it, I tell you what, it's well worth a try, because this is what you could consider to be an entry-level whiskey. Yeah. You're looking at sort of 25, 30 pounds a bottle at most. And it really is fantastic, using some of the key brands. Obviously, we were discussing upstairs, Knockando, being, your own distillery-owned liquid. But I mean, other fantastic bits and pieces going in here. And it's so consistent. Ethan, obviously, you're new enough to the business. You've taken on this role dealing with the fine and rare side of things. This shelf, I would say, probably perfectly epitomizes the brands that you need to work with and the liquids that you're sort of selling. What is it that sort of really gets you excited about these different bits and pieces here? Because there is a lot going on this shelf, and this doesn't even really begin to scratch the surface.
Not at all.
It's just a good sort of visual aid, if I can. But what gets you really excited about your job?
I just think it's the different people that you meet. Everyone has a different story to tell, and I think, as you can see on here, a lot of these whiskies have their own stories. And what I find most interesting, and what I'm finding more and more with people, whether it be a bar, a restaurant, a private individual, everyone connects with something. I was in a bar recently. Someone came up and they were asking specifically. I was very much off duty, overheard, and they were asking for Port Ellen. There was a couple of bottles on the back bar, which was great. And apparently their son and their daughter got engaged at Port Ellen, and they were looking for something. This was their anniversary, and they were looking for something special. And I thought,
wonderful.
That's exactly what I enjoy about my job.
Yeah.
Someone may come to me and said, look, my company hit XYZ on
in 1992, I really want to kind of celebrate with a whiskey from 1992. And what I love about my job is that discovery. It's kind of, even for me, learning and going into the stories of these, whether they be the people and or the whiskies, and linking them together. That's really what gets me out of bed.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've got such a wealth of different distilleries to work with. For me, myself, as an independent bottler, what I love about my role is I get to talk about all whiskies. A lot of brand ambassadors are stuck talking about one whiskey or maybe a small selection of whiskies. You're so much more than a brand ambassador, because you really do get to try and deal with and promote all of these phenomenal brands. I mean, do you have a favorite yourself? Or is it really a case of kind of, like drinking whiskey, it depends on the day, it depends on how you're feeling?
Very much depends on the day and how I'm feeling. I go through phases. I've said this before, my favourite dram of all time is Talisker 30, my ultimate desert island dram. But sometimes, my go-to whiskey at home is Clynelish 14. It's like chalk and cheese. It really, really varies. Obviously, you talk about having to talk about all of these distilleries, and it's true, but I think if everyone in the category does really well, then everyone does well. Like it's very much it's such a small industry. Everyone knows everyone. I hope everyone's friends with everyone. So look, I enjoy talking and sharing drams with other people from different brands and different people. And yes, obviously I represent a huge proportion of the distilleries in Scotland, but I like to taste other brands as well, just because it further increases my knowledge, but also everyone talks about them.
Yeah.
And you can't just have a conversation with someone and just talk about your own brands. It just doesn't work like that anymore, especially anymore. I think nowadays the world is too small. And also I like to taste whiskey, so.
Definitely. Fantastic stuff. Okay. I mean, being here in the space downstairs, this is definitely a lot more private. It's very intimate. It's a beautiful space, and what a setup you've got. I've mentioned upstairs people who are at home, enthusiasts wanting to get involved. Is there anything more that they can do to get involved with this space down here, with tasting events, anything like that, on the whiskey side of things?
Yeah, look, we're working on it still. We're looking to host various tastings throughout the month, kind of on a monthly basis. But watch this space. We're still very new to this, as I say. We're only a few months old, so there will be opportunities to kind of look at whiskey packages if that's what you want to do. If kind of certain exploration types, it may not be with myself, but if you want to explore the Highlands or want to explore a specific style of whiskey, then there will be the ability to kind of organise a tasting for you, friends, and do that on a private basis.
Ethan, that sounds absolutely phenomenal. And I'm sorry, I'm doing my best to pay attention to you, but I'm just looking behind me at all these incredible whiskies. They really are a thing of beauty. Knowing the liquid within is really good. Is something else as well, though. I'm looking at some of these in awe, and I'm looking particularly at that Singleton, the 54-year-old. In awe because I know just how good that liquid is. I was very lucky recently to be at a tasting that you hosted, and you shared that 54-year-old. It's a Dufton, correct?
Yes.
Singleton of Dufton. I mean, that stood head and shoulders above the rest. The 45-year-old Talisker, definitely well up there, but that 54-year-old Singleton. I'm also, Brewer is a name that seems to be catching my eye a lot. There's this beautiful 1977 here, which is the Prima and Ultima, but the triptych at the top has really captured my eye. This was to sort of celebrate the reopening of the distillery?
Yeah, we released this when the distillery reopened in 2021, and it was really it's a set of 3 bottles to highlight Brewer through the ages. So we've got a 72, a 77 and an 82, all very, very different in style, all to kind of showcase what Brewer became, and ended, sadly,
right. Okay.
and what shall be coming in the future, I guess, now that we've reopened it.
Fantastic. God, spirit all the way back from 1972. Yeah. It's you have to pinch yourself sometimes doing this job. That is
Tell me about it.
Incredible. Amazing stuff. Well, listen, I could, and I probably will off camera, stay here for the rest of the afternoon, trying to get as much information from you on all these different releases. One little thing for everyone at home. Is there anything that you can share with us? I'm sure there's so much stuff that you can't tell us, but is there anything you can share with the people at home of what's exciting, what's coming?
Oh, I mean, we talk about Brewer. brewer has now celebrated its 3rd year since reopening, so we're now able to call the whiskey, well, the new make Whisky.
It's finally Whisky.
It's finally Whisky,
Fantastic.
exactly. We're celebrating that, and I think to really celebrate the release, well, the becoming of that, we've released a distillery exclusive, which unfortunately you have to make your way up to the Highlands to get hold of, but it's a 44-year-old brewer, single cask. I think there's 150 odd bottles actually available, and I think it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal dram. I've not tried it yet. I'm still waiting for my parcel to arrive.
Right, okay. You don't have to make the trip.
Oh, wait, no, I definitely will.
Sounds well
they don't make
worth
life
the
that
trip.
easy for me. But no, I think that I'm very much excited. I'm very excited to try.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to be a game changer.
Fantastic. I have to say, you certainly whet my palate there. That sounds incredible. All right, well, look, thank you so much for spending the afternoon with us. Like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time. You've been very generous, not only with your time, but also with the wonderful liquid that you've poured here today. For everyone at home who has enjoyed this episode and who's thinking, I want to get involved, I want to meet Ethan, I want to twist his ear, I want to find out a little bit more about these incredible spirits, or I just want to get down and try something, please do. Stop off here at Burlington Arcade, get involved. There's not just Ethan, but the whole team here. So welcoming, so much knowledge, and you're really going to be able to get involved in some wonderful drams. Not only drams though, some champagne and wines as well, which for somebody like myself is always a welcome change of pace. Ethan, thank you so much for spending the afternoon and showing this beautiful space to us. Really, really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to see what's coming for you and the whole Justerini and Brooks team.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Really, really looking forward to coming again. For everyone at home, this has been a day in the life of with the Whiskey Baron. We will see you next time. Slán se bheith.